Leroy, it's time to talk to one of our absolute favorites. Got a big fight coming up on Saturday on ESPN pay-per-view. Terence Crawford is taking on Shawn Porter. This is going to be a hell of a fight in the welterweight division. One of the best to do it. He is the analyst for ESPN, absolute star, one of the best boxers of all time. Andre Ward joining us on the program again. Andre, thanks for the time, man. Really appreciate it.
Anytime, fellas, anytime.
Before we get into boxing, man, I got to know, your guy Steph Curry, this is an insane run that he is on right now. What is it like watching your Dubs right now?
I mean, I'm not surprised. What is surprising, though, is that how quick, the demise of the Golden State Warriors, how quick everybody talked about the demise of the Golden State Warriors when they had a little bit of a downtime and they weren't really dominating the last couple of years. But people got to understand that when you're on that kind of tear, the way that they were, that type of schedule where they're going to the playoffs, then going to the finals, just the physical toll, the psychological tolls, them having a off year or two is to be expected. So to see them kind of have a resurgence right now, I'm not shocked at all.
I mean, you know who else is going through this? I don't want to say it because they're in the division, the Patriots.
Yes, definitely. Definitely. But I mean, I also think that as they're going through this, you see the brilliance of Belichick and his staff because they got to figure it out. And if they can't figure it out,
new people. Steph is the same people, except for Clay. And they got Wiseman in the middle, but it's basically the same core.
Yep. I mean, he lost Tom Brady, Belichick.
Right, but
he lost the centerpiece. But he'll figure it out. He always does.
Being a Bay Area guy, were you a Frank Gore guy? Have you seen Frank Gore's training and tuning up for a boxing match?
Oh man, that's my brother, man. That's my brother. I watched him and respected his game, man. He's a craftsman. When he was on that field, man, you just see him, at his size, he wouldn't take a lot of punishment. And it's like, man, how's he not taking a lot? But he just knows how to play the game. So I've always respected that about him. We started building a relationship years ago. And I love Frank because he's similar to Dame Lillard, man, where he's a true boxing fan. And he's been doing this for a long time. So this isn't just some guy trying to cross over to a different sport. He's been in the gym. So we talk, we've had some correspondence. So I'm looking forward to this, man. I'm excited about his fight.
Now, would you figure with the way he plays football that he'd be more of a defensive fighter? Have a counterattack and stuff like that, because he did an amazing job with all the years he played football of avoiding the big hit.
I will say this, from the footage that I've seen from him, from what he sent me, Frank Gore can be aggressive.
Okay.
And the football for him translates to the ring in the sense of his footwork.
Right.
He's a thick dude. He's solid. He's built. But when you see him move, he moves like a guy that weighs 60 pounds less than what he does.
Mm-hmm. And
that's the first thing that jumped out at me. I was like, bro, you moving kind of light on your feet, bro. He was like, yeah, man, it's probably me being a running back. I said, that's exactly what it is. Yeah. So he's pretty aggressive, but he also got some defense too. So my big thing is I want to see how he overcomes the height differential. And I want to see how Williams overcomes the height differential, because it's hard punching down when you're a bigger man, even guys who have been in the sport their whole career. So this is going to be an interesting matchup. It's going to be a very interesting matchup.
Well, we got an interesting matchup coming up tomorrow night. You got Saturday night. It's going to be ESPN pay-per-view. Terence Crawford taking on Shawn Porter. It's a good fight, man. Shawn Porter's no joke. He makes it a tough night in the ring for everybody he goes up against. It's kind of the test everybody, the quote-unquote test everybody's been looking for Bud in the welterweight division. I mean, what do you make of this matchup, man? This is a hell of a clash.
It's a can't-miss fight. That's number one. Number two, I just appreciate Shawn once again stepping up and being willing to, call out, he's called out the baddest men in the division. And he's come up short in most of those fights, but he was in every fight and could have won every fight. He's just come up a little bit short, but I don't see any of those guys asking for rematches. And that just speaks to who Shawn Porter is. He's built different in the sense of he's a true fighter, and when you sign to fight a big fight, and you know you're facing a guy like they used to say back in the day that you got to bring your lunch pail with, a guy that you know it's going to be a rough night. That's a lot to process and deal with, for 8 weeks and 10 weeks. Like every day you're reminded, like, man, I got a date for a night that's going to be real rough for both of us, and I hope I come out on top. He's been willing to do that over and over and over again, and then he saves arguably the best guy in the division for last in Terence Crawford. So Shawn's going to do what Shawn does, and he needs to do that early. Meaning he needs to be aggressive. He needs to be physical early in this fight, because Terence Crawford is historically a slower starter. He likes to collect data, information, and create a game plan over the first couple rounds. He doesn't mind losing those rounds while he's getting warmed up. Shawn can't let Terence Crawford get warmed up.
It really, yeah.
So if he wins, if Shawn wins, he gets to him quick and puts him on the defense, and then he can't really get a game plan because he's getting hit.
Yeah, and here's the thing though. Terence Crawford is gonna make adjustments. But what I'm saying is the best start for him is a fast start. Because the two mindsets that Crawford is at war with is really within himself, which is, do I box or do I fight? Terence Crawford is similar to me in the sense that he's insanely competitive. Like, if you hit him, I'm going to get you back. And Shawn needs to get that kind of momentum going early where he's got Bud struggling on, man, should I box? Should I fight? Man, I'm down 2 rounds. Man, he caught me with a good shot. The crowd went, ooh. He's got to start fast. Bud's going to have his moments, right? It's like when, NBA teams, or even great NFL teams, when you play a great team, they're going to get theirs, but you try to keep it to a minimum, and then you try to get your stuff off more than they get their stuff off. So the fresh start, the fast start for Shawn Porter is the key. Bud's going to have his moments, but then Shawn's got to be able to weather those storms and then come back and keep pressing, keep making it ugly. The uglier the fight, the better for Shawn Porter.
We're talking to the great Andre Ward. You guys catch ESPN pay-per-view on Saturday night. It's going to be Terence Bud Crawford against Showtime Shawn Porter for the welterweight championship of the world. By this fight, as he said, it is can't miss. Andre Ward, you made one of the news this week that Canelo Alvarez is moving up yet again, it seems, to cruiserweight. You cleaned out many divisions. I remember before you retired, you even hinted maybe you were going to go to heavyweight. This idea of going up even bigger for Canelo, do you like this idea? Are you into this next phase of his career he seems to be going to?
Man, I keep getting put in these tough predicaments with Canelo, man, and people they keep wanting to pit me against Canelo like I have a dislike for him, and I really don't, But when you start talking about a fighter being an all-time great in everything, I'm a boxing mind. I'm not a fan, right? So I'm going to go and I'm going to dig and I'm going to do my research. I already know the history, but I'm going to go just to make sure I got it right. Well, who did he fight? Okay, he fought this name. That's a pretty big name. Well, where was that name at when he fought him? Man, that guy was a little past his prime. Okay, let me see. Let me move up the list a little bit. Man, he waited until this dude had already been knocked out twice, and then he fought this. It's a lot of that on Canelo's resume, right? When he fought Golovkin started chasing him. He didn't really want to fight Golovkin. He was real mum on fighting him. He was real slow. Golovkin had to come and invade his post-fight interview and sort of call out his manhood for him to say, hey, I'll fight you. Mexicans don't, we don't run from anything. And he kind of got Canelo to that point, and then they eventually had the fights that they had. So I say all that to say Canelo is a good talent. We just don't quite know how good he is because throughout the course of his career, he wasn't always calling out the best guys. Now to the cruiserweight thing. This is tricky. Great feat. It's dangerous no matter what cruiserweight you're fighting. But if you pick the right guy, job well done. So when I look at the guy he's calling out, and I haven't done extensive research on him, he's a big guy. He can punch, but you see a lot of flaws. You see a guy that's going to take a lot of punishment. And if Canelo is on point, he shouldn't have any problems with that guy at cruiserweight.
Why do guys move up? Because, look, one of my favorite boxers of all time is Roy Jones Jr., right? And he moved up at the best possible time to move up to heavyweight, right? But then when he won the championship at heavyweight, it was never the same. And people don't appreciate what Roy Jones did in his division. And I know for him, it was because it was hard to find people to fight.
Yeah.
Right? But with Canelo, he is the draw. So he could fight a tomato can. People going to show up. Why move up?
He's moving up because he wants to make history. He wants to, when people look back at his career, he wants people to say he went to 5 divisions, 6 divisions.
Okay.
And just even the reaction he got just from saying that he wanted to fight this guy, he's in the news for a day or two. So it's getting the reaction that they want.
Okay.
And even though this guy isn't like the best cruiserweight in the world, you still got to respect if Canelo's able to go up in weight and pull that off. There's still something to be said about that. But just back to your original question, people move up for multiple reasons. Sometimes it's the money. Sometimes it's to prove that they can. And hey, I'm not just, that was sort of the knock on me for a while. I was at 168. Oh, you've only been in one division. Okay, y'all want to move the goalpost. So let me go up a little bit. I've always wanted to be a multi-divisional champion. So let me go ahead and do it. So there's multiple reasons why guys move up. Sometimes they eat themselves or grow themselves out of a weight class. Many reasons why guys go up. But the primary reasons are for history, to prove greatness, so I can be a multi-divisional champion. And the money's bigger. The higher you go, the bigger bag you get.
Before we get you out of here, Andre, like you said, you've always said you're very happy in retirement, but what do you make of like this whole you versus Canelo thing? Like people put it on social media. Maybe do it, Andre Ward versus Canelo. Could that draw you out of retirement? Like, how do you react to people who are all of a sudden interested in something like that? Because it would be like a monster payday and everybody would be super into it.
He's smiling.
Yeah. I'm smiling for a lot of reasons. I'll just start by saying, what do I feel about it? I think it's a mixed bag. On one hand, it's true fans and true supporters that are like, dude, we want to see you back. Why not fight this guy? On the other hand, it's manufactured. There was no talk of me fighting Canelo when I was acting.
When you was fighting.
When I won my last fight against Sergey Kovalev, that would have been a great time to mention my name. Nobody, he never said my name as far as as far as I know throughout my whole 13-year career. But then he goes and fights a common opponent. And I'm waiting to see, okay, is he gonna say my name? It's some, some synergy here. It's a situation where we both got the same guy. Oh, I'm gonna talk to my team and see what happens. So that was the only time that I was ever remotely interested to see if he said my name. But beyond that, it's no rivalry. We have no history, and it's taking everything in my power to stick to my word and to stay focused on the plan, which is to retire, stay retired, create a different narrative and legacy for the guys coming behind me, man, and to build some different things, man. And I am. I mean, I can't give away too much because it's not done yet, but I'm very close to signing a deal for my documentary as well as my book. So I'm trying to put my focus, my energy, my competitiveness, my drive in other areas, man. I'm trying. But they keep trying to
somebody say the wrong thing. Somebody say the wrong thing. If somebody say the wrong thing.
Hey, I'm trying, man. I'm trying to stay on social media so much. I'm just trying to stay focused because every time I turn around, they're saying my name.
Andre Ward, go check him out tomorrow. He is calling Terence Crawford versus Shawn Porter. Get it on pay-per-view, everybody. It is a can't-miss fight. We look forward to your call.
Don't let him call you out in the suit.
We look forward.
Don't let him call you out in the suit. No, hold on. Let me go put my stuff on. They call me out.
My stuff ain't never far away.
Yeah. You carry a little bag. You got a little bag. I'm gonna
in
put
the trunk. You already know, in the trunk.
We look forward to your call tomorrow, and we're looking forward to Little Warriors Heat Finals coming up later this year, huh?
Yes, let's do it. Let's do it.
All right, Andre, take care, man.
Thanks, Dre. All right,
Andre Ward.
Hey,
we got him stirred up, Leroy.
Somebody say the wrong thing. If somebody, but you know what? Here's what I'm a little upset about now. He didn't really call out Canelo, but he called him out.
Right.
By saying he ain't really fight nobody and he fight over the hill guys. But my question is, if Canelo calls him out and then he come back, wouldn't Canelo be making that decision that, oh, he ain't fought in a while, I can get him?
You want to know what a crazy thing is, though? Like, everybody wants to see Canelo fight Triple G again, like the third fight. Andre's younger than Triple G. Like, he's younger than Triple G. Right. He is, dude. Like, I mean, he hasn't fought. We saw his last fight. Fight. So it's been a while, but I mean, it's not crazy old.
Hey, you know, my guy's Roy Jones.
Of course.
So, I appreciate everything. He couldn't get a fight, man. It was frustrating. And he moved up to the point where whatever the reasons were, he moved up to get a check or whatever. He had some success because the heavyweight division was dead in the water when he moved up, right? There was nobody. Everybody had retired. All those 90s guys were gone, okay? So then he went back down. Then he started getting beat up, right? But people don't, and I look at Andre Ward the same way. Like, dude, like, it almost seemed like he got bored with boxing. You know, he wanted to do something else. So if somebody say the wrong thing, we are going to Vegas. Because I'm telling you, you know what's going on.
We'll do 3 a.m. shows. We do those 3 a.m. shows for it. Again, everybody.
He gonna say, hey, I had a conversation with my family, and I'm gonna kick his ass.
Again, everybody, go catch Terence Crawford against Shawn Porter, ESPN pay-per-view. That is on Saturday night. Card starts at 9 o'clock. That is going to be a hell of a fight. Andre Ward will be on the call. That's our show for this week, everybody. We will talk to you guys on Monday.